Three. Hey everybody, it's Dark Trennow here, and we have something different from the normal Let's Play content. We're having a sort of thing where we talk about video games and the industry and shit like that. Today we figured, if you hadn't guessed from the two pictures that just went by, we're going to talk about the new PlayStations. Um, so with me today is my good buddy Shadowfox.
Hey, what's up, YouTube? How you guys doing?
Yeah. First things first, Shadowfox will not only have his normal streaming link in the description, but his YouTube channel, which he just got, as well, will also be in there. If you like my content, it probably means you'll like Shadowfox's too. I'm pretty sure his quality standards are higher than mine, so it's like a step up, but without my golden voice.
No, dude, I wouldn't say that. I'm just getting into the YouTube game, dude. I have one video, and I'm just trying to edit, man. Editing is not as easy as
Yeah,
some
it's
of
not
you guys
fun.
might think, or if you guys,
20-minute video takes 2
yeah,
hours.
or if you guys know, like, oh my gosh, trying to get like 7, 8 separate clips and just make them into one movie is not the easiest thing to do, especially for a noob like me.
Yeah, you get better at it. You get better at it, and it's fun too. But the PlayStation. So, as everybody knows by now, I'm sure that two new PlayStations have been announced: the PlayStation 4 Slim and the PlayStation 4 Pro. I figured we'd kind of start with the Slim first because it's an easier beast to manage.
Exactly, yeah.
Um, so the Slim, I'll start with I've never been like the biggest fan of Sony. I had a PlayStation 2 and I loved it. I think that was a great console and there was a lot of good stuff going on with it, a lot of good games, but I never bought a PlayStation 3. Was never really interested by a PlayStation 3 or any of its features, and I don't like what Sony's done with the PlayStation 4.
No, I don't. I really don't either. It's just it. It never really, like you said, it never really amused me. Never really caught my attention. I mean, I always liked. I mean, not just because I have an Xbox, but just, I mean, I always liked the games. The games for the Xbox always more like intrigued me more. But
Right. The better
exactly,
exclusives.
better exclusive.
Now, what's interesting about the Slim is it doesn't really. Since we brought up Microsoft, it's a good time now. The Xbox One S is, I think, one of the best Slim consoles made ever, and I think the PlayStation 4 Slim is one of the worst Slims made ever, because the PlayStation 4 Slim doesn't really seem to add anything. It's only like, I don't know, I think 30% thinner.
Yeah,
Um,
it's
it's not really that, like, I know you're thinking like, oh, 30%, it's almost a third it's smaller, but I'm like, that's really not that much considering the Xbox One S is like just over 40% slimmer, I want to say. The power brick is actually built into the Xbox One S, so not only did they save a lot of space, but they actually added parts into it and still managed to save more space than the PlayStation 4 Slim.
See, there you go. I
Um,
mean, that's a really good innovation. You said you're saving space.
exactly, and on top of that, the Slim doesn't really seem to match the visual settings of the Xbox One S either.
No, yeah,
It is not exactly as sophisticated in the 4K world. In fact, it really just brings things up to the HDR content, which I want to say is the what is it? Not something definition of high dynamic range is what I'm thinking. That's
there you
it.
go.
And it's definitely nicer. It upscales things for sure, but it's not 4K. It's not. I have some problems with 4K as it is, much less the crappy knockoff version of it. It's gonna have the updated DualShock 4 controller.
Which, if I'm gonna say that DualShock 4 controller, I mean, come on, it looks the same.
Yeah, I'm looking at a picture of it right now, actually, and
Like
I can't really say there's any
a lighted strip above the
difference.
touchpad. Oh my gosh, that's a huge game changer, guys.
What an innovation!
Like that, and oh my gosh, it looks exactly the same. It's almost the type.
Yeah,
This is almost the type of console that's kind of like, hey, give us your money.
yeah, it's a cheap money grab, and it really is. Like, I know it's like really harsh just to come out and say that this early on, but like, no, it really is, because So it's $300, right? That's a good price for a
Very solid
console.
price.
Period.
Very solid price.
Um,
I,
where I
no
get
problems
really
with that.
frustrated though is that they have taken this and made it only launch just a couple months before the Pro, which is only like $100 more. Why not just wait and get a Pro?
He makes no
Like if you and like first of all, if you're a current PlayStation 4 owner, I don't really see the point in buying either of those, considering the actual gaming, the parts you're buying a console for,
exactly.
isn't exactly improved.
No, and I mean they're not. It's been confirmed that they're at least as of right now, they're not even making exclusives for the consoles. So
Exactly. Um,
it's just right now it's just not really making sense to buy one.
it's not particularly enticing.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's just really strange because there weren't exactly a lot of exclusives out there anyway. Even Nintendo has not had a lot of exclusives for the Wii U because they haven't been making any damn games. The last major Wii U release was Star Fox Zero, and I mean I own Star Fox Zero. I love my Wii U actually, but I mean that was kind of an underwhelming game. The other exclusives there are pretty good, like Mario Kart 8, but this sticks out for the industry as a whole, which is why I bring up the Wii U. Is that like there's a couple good exclusives for each of the consoles, but really nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing as a whole. No killer apps like you had Halo 3 on the 360 or stuff like that. I mean, sure we have Bloodborne on the PlayStation 4, but still.
Okay, yeah. I do have to say one game that really does like if I owned a PS4, I'd be really excited for is Horizon Zero Dawn. That game
Oh yeah.
looks amazing, and I'm not gonna lie, that
Mhm.
like almost makes me want to think about it, but at the same time, it's like I don't know, it's not as
It's just one game.
yeah, exactly, and from what we've been talking about, it's that they haven't really changed much from the new PS4 Slim and the PS4 Pro, but exactly, it's just one game. But it does.
That's where I get bothered is because I am a 360 owner. Obviously, I don't have live on it or anymore, but there were tons of exclusives on that were great games. Sure, I can pick up a couple good exclusives for any of the consoles now, but none of them. There's no like runaway hits. There's nothing that I can't get like on a PC that will be honestly better.
Exactly. I mean, you just name the big.
Nothing that makes me want to go get that console.
Exactly.
And the fact of the matter is, the Slim doesn't have any features either. Ooh, it's a little bit smaller, and it's only $300 and has that lighted strip. But I mean, HDR upscaling,
I mean,
it has very limited 4K
from what
features.
people are saying, one of the key specs is that it's quieter. I mean, come on, guys. At least me, I really don't even notice if it's quieter or not. I'm paying attention to the game. I'm paying attention to the game's audio. I really don't care if it's quieter or not. I mean, and then there's like a matte sandpaper finish. I'm sorry, I'm not really looking at the console while I'm gaming and just in complete shock and awe, you know.
Yeah, exactly. It's like as long as the color isn't terrible, I really don't
Exactly.
care. But I mean, like it's black like all the other PlayStations.
For real.
It has that weird slant to it on the front.
Yeah, it just they're not they're not big specs that just make me want to say I'm going out and I'm buying this right now. I'm gonna wait in line for 3 hours to get this.
Mhm. Yeah, I said it's just underwhelming, especially compared to its competition, the Xbox One S, which has far more 4K features, is more innovative and equally priced. If I had to go buy one of those two consoles now, I'd get the Xbox One S every time.
Yes.
It's just, I mean, and their little controller innovations, why aren't exactly spectacular, but at least the One S actually gave me more than a little light strip. At least gave me the textured grips or whatever, something that at least feels more useful.
Exactly.
I feel like the light strip is going to burn my battery faster than the controller. Yeah, but it seems like we've destroyed destroyed the Slim enough. Let's talk about our friend
Utterly
the
destroyed.
Pro, another equally underwhelming console that I don't particularly care for.
Oh gosh, yeah, no, it's like you said. I mean, like we said earlier, it's gonna come out a month after the PS4 Slim, but it doesn't. I mean, it's not really making much sense to buy it. But all right, you go ahead. Go ahead on your spec.
No, no, continue.
No, I mean it just
No,
seems like
so like I said, yeah, I agree that like there's not a lot of point considering from what we know now, it's only gonna be like 100, maybe $200 more. Everything right now is obviously very tentative and not for really, not everything is confirmed.
yeah.
But the what I'm looking at here says 399, so only $100 more. And so if it's only coming out just a couple months after the Slim, why the hell would I buy a Slim?
Exactly.
Just
Like
wait. Even if I was saving up every dollar to buy that, just wait and get the extra $100 to go get a Pro if you really want a PlayStation that bad.
exactly. I'm not in that much of a hurry that I need a console right now.
Yeah.
Like if you've been waiting, you can wait another month. I mean, it's gonna make a lot more sense for you to wait the month and just pay $100 more if you're
Mhm.
choosing to get these products. You know.
And an interesting thing is, so this actually has more 4K features, which I know for a lot of people in the console world right now that matters a lot. Even though I kind of find it strange that like we have not even done 1080p 60 frames like mastered 100%.
Exactly.
Sure, you can easily get a few games here and there 1080p 60 frames, but we have not exactly mastered
I
that.
mean, the big
Um,
game that I play, Destiny, it's on both consoles. So it's for Xbox and it's for PS4. What is it runs at 10? I'm pretty sure 1080p, but definitely 30 frames per second. They
exactly.
there's just
Most of the games people are playing right now, 30 frames.
exactly.
And so it's just really interesting that we want to jump straight into 4K. And I guess they're having a lot of success with that, considering we're still doing that with like the One S, the Xbox One, the PlayStation 4 Pros and Slims, you
Hmm.
know. So if now provided you have the 4K TV, otherwise you don't get this
Which is
benefit.
a good like
Um,
$3,000 debt.
exactly. You will get your streaming services like Netflix and YouTube. That's upscaled to 4K. Your games will be upscaled to 4K,
Provided they can.
and I believe you should. Yeah. Provide you own TV. Now, if you don't own a 4K TV, it still upscales it, just not to that level. So it will look nicer, but it does seem kind of strange to say that's where the high dynamic resolution, the HDR comes into play. It it's just still very kind of like, do I really need to upscale it that much more on this? You know, like that seems a lot to just buy a console on purely.
Hmm.
And interestingly enough, for all that 4K prowess, the Pro doesn't support the Ultra HD Blu-rays, like the 4K Blu-rays. It won't
Like,
play
come
them.
on, come on. You are already there. Like, what is this?
I know.
What?
I gotta wonder who said no, 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 no back in R&D and said we can't do that for the Pro. This console can't do. Like,
Like
really?
you were already
Why?
you were more than halfway there. You were like 90% there.
Exactly. I'm like, why did we say, oh, we can't have 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray? No, no, no. And this is really weird coming from Sony because ever since their first console, they have always added a little bit extra.
Yep.
With the PlayStation 1, it was the fact that it could play CDs. The PlayStation 2, it played DVDs. It in many ways was a great combo for getting games and
Yeah,
DVDs.
no, it was.
And the PlayStation 3 did this by far the best by being the cheapest Blu-ray player yet. You could get a console and a Blu-ray player cheaper than buying a straight-up Blu-ray player. And I find it so absurd that in the PS4, they do not take that same tradition and say, we're going to let you do 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray in the new Pro.
It makes no sense at all.
Exactly. It's completely obtuse and asinine. I don't get it.
That's
And I believe it uses the new controller, too. So
look at that. Come on,
at least you get that light strip.
right? I mean, come on, Sony marketing team. Like we can do this.
Yeah.
Like you just tell your engineers, like, hey guys, we can do this. Like, why don't we just put it into the system? I mean, there's
still
exactly.
time.
Sony, if you're hearing this, there's still time.
You know, and that's the thing is because I'm like, okay, why not go ahead and actually pull it and add that support? Because if you're going to have the Slim launched that closely to the Pro, why not just push the Pro back a little so it can get the extra support for the 4K Blu-ray?
I mean,
Because I
no one's
mean,
gonna really mind if you
the
push it back.
people who buy the Slim are definitely not Pro buyers.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like I think they rather get that extra benefit and have to wait a bit, you know.
Yeah. No,
And
totally agree.
I'd be really pissed off though if they up the cost on that. It should still be
No,
$3.99.
yeah, it should. They should definitely not even touch that. Like, don't even touch
And
the
then
cost.
coming back to the competition, Xbox Scorpio. We obviously don't know a lot about it. Microsoft just tells us vague things because they haven't announced things to be, in their official specs and things like that. But I have a feeling the Scorpio is going to be insanely more powerful than the Pro.
Well, I mean, I'm looking at something right now, and it's saying that it can go up to about 2 terabytes of memory.
hmm Um,
Which,
yeah, I said
which
I don't think it'll be able to compete well against the Scorpio just because the Scorpio has the advantage of being second to launch, which in the console world is very good because you can directly see what your competitor's done and you still have a chance to change any weaknesses
yeah.
that would ultimately hurt your sales.
hmm
And I think that's exactly what's gonna happen is if the Scorpio doesn't have any solid advantages over the Pro, which I find extremely doubtful they'll be able to change it, though I suspect the Scorpio is already a way better console
I mean, they said that it
than
was going to, at least from their, like, they wanted to challenge, like, hardcore PC gaming.
hmm And that's a big deal to get into because I do a lot of my more serious gaming on the PC, and I think it's just the better platform.
Yeah, no,
I'm a huge Nintendo fan, and so I always get the Nintendo consoles, but that's because I can't have that experience on PC.
exactly. A lot of, no, a huge population of gaming is dedicated to PC because, I mean, it can just support, like, way more. Like, I mean, the 4K, they'd be like, PC gamers are like, Psh, we've had that for a long time, guys.
Yeah. Um, and just so we cover this too, these are some ugly consoles. Again, this isn't like the thing that matters most to me, but like the Pro looks like some terrible hamburger Sony
It
device. I
really
don't even
does,
know.
though.
It just doesn't look nice. Like if someone was like, "Oh, you wanna," if you just were just grading them on their aesthetic appearance, who picked that casing? Put it in something else, anything else.
Well, guys, I got a good
I mean,
idea.
it looks terrible.
It's gonna be a box. It's a box, and
Yeah,
we're gonna make it look like it's a triple stack burger.
exactly. Exactly. I mean, the Slim doesn't look great either, but it's better looking than the Pro. I'll give it that.
Yeah.
But the Slim is not exactly the greatest looking thing either. It's just kind of a rounded out, flat version of the current PlayStation 4,
hmm
and at least the current PlayStation 4, the geometric edges made it look somewhat cool, even though I don't think that was a particularly great looking console
Somewhat
either.
appealing.
Yeah, but I mean, again, that's like one of the least of my worries with these consoles because again, I'm not here to talk about video games appearance,
Exactly.
and console appearance. I'll talk about graphics, sure, but I'm not going to talk about, well, let's look at this let's look at this outer casing here for the PlayStation.
Yeah.
No, but I just think that's the icing on the cake is that not only that is they made an ugly console too.
Exactly.
So, as we get close to wrapping up here, is there any like last minute topics specifically to the PlayStation that we want to talk about or comparisons?
Well, I just want to put out one thing, guys. Don't think we're being biased over here just for, like, riding Microsoft. It's just literally the PlayStation does not leave us impressed, It doesn't leave a good impression on us that would make us want to back it. Now,
Yeah.
like, and don't get me wrong, like, if it did and if it had like really good specs, I would be the first one to say, like, hey, that's a really good console. Like, it's better than mine. Good job, Sony. But I don't know. I just don't find it appealing at all with anything that they're adding.
I agree completely. Just again, I'm not a Sony hater. Like I said at the beginning, I'm not their biggest fan, but I'm not a hater either. I bought two PlayStation 2s actually, the original and the Slim. I think Sony has a great legacy and heritage. They've always brought something new to the console generations, which I find very nice. But I really have to agree with Shadowfox here when I say these are just very underwhelming consoles. It's not exactly exciting. It doesn't get me very hyped. I much rather see what the NX has to offer once we finally get a reveal on that, and of course more information on the Scorpio.
Exactly.
For sure.
No, definitely.
I'm definitely excited for the NX. Maybe we'll have to do that for another Tech Talk, is once the NX gets revealed.
Definitely. And
Because
I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping the Scorpio doesn't have like a huge like, what is it? The price is not out of this world, you know.
Yeah, I hope it doesn't have a price tag that matches its power.
Exactly.
I hope Microsoft can say, look, video game industry can be delicate in terms of your profits from the console, because ironically, if you look at units sold of Super Nintendo, it is painfully outsells stuff like the original Xbox.
Gosh, the Super Nintendo.
That isn't to say that the original Xbox didn't make more money. I'm not sure on that figure because there's different pricings at different times,
Exactly.
But I can tell you that like the Super Nintendo outsold a lot of consoles. We definitely outsold a lot of other consoles, and it doesn't always match up. This is one of the most poor selling console generations there's been.
I mean, for the longest time, Nintendo were the kingpins of consoles, dude. They were kings. No one was taking them down for a long time.
I mean, don't forget, I think, especially among people who just get into gaming, they don't realize that Nintendo destroyed Sega.
Oh my gosh.
They put up an amazing fight with the Super Nintendo and made a 32-bit console beat out, or not a 30, I can't remember what bit the Super Nintendo was. But it actually beat out one of Sega's consoles that had moved up in terms of power, and by just being better and innovating, they actually really see this with the original Donkey Kong Country, that they took a game that by all means shouldn't have been that good looking, and made it that good looking, put it on the Super fucking Nintendo, and it completely blew out the crap that Sega was putting out because they just jumped into the next power generation. They didn't actually utilize it and make it look nice. And again, the Wii outsold everything.
Oh my gosh, that Wii.
Everyone had a Wii and an Xbox 360 or a PlayStation 3, but you always had the Wii.
And if you didn't have a Wii, you were definitely asking for it for Christmas.
Exactly.
Like you were finding a way to get that, because that Wii was, oh my gosh, a major innovator of its time, dude. You could argue that it pretty much led to things like the Kinect being made for Microsoft and Xbox.
Oh yeah.
That was, oh my gosh, that was the starter of everything, you know. All the motion
brilliant
gaming,
console.
Motion gaming. It was amazing.
And obviously, the motion gaming hasn't always been the best thing. I think anyone who's done the Manta surfing in Mario Galaxy will agree with me. But I mean, the fact of the matter is there were two copycats.
Exactly.
The Kinect and the PlayStation Move.
Exactly.
It was successful, and motion gimmicks are pretty much here to stay in both the Wii U and all the 3DSs and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I can actually say the 3DS uses its motion gimmicks very well in like Luigi's Mansion 2, and I caved and bought Federation Force. But Metroid fans like me understand the pain of that all. Shadowfox. But I think that's just about all the time we have for this episode. Thank y'all always for watching, and have a great day.
Bye, guys.